Hello, my lovely Substack friends. It's about 6:40 in the morning here in France, and I wanted to share this clear, cool morning with you. You can hear all the birds. Aren't they lovely? I've been watching they're very small bats, and we've got one that lives in our little piggery. We always joke that the piggery is where we put people if they've outstayed their welcome here. It's only a joke. And it's also where the lawnmower lives. So we call him Bartholomew, and Bartholomew has been out and about and his little friends, but I think he's probably gone home now. There's too much light. And now what started, which is lovely, are the swifts. Now the swifts have only just come to the Dordogne again, and they are the most wonderful birds that come here in the summer or in the late spring. They're here a little early, I think. And they do what we call the dawn patrol and the evening patrol, where they come down quite low and they zoom around in gangs of about 5 or 6, and they keep their mouths wide open and they collect all of the insects that are in the air. So it's a great way of feeding. I've just seen my first blue tit. All the birds are waking up. We've still got some, we call it glycine here, but it's, I'm trying to remember the word in English. It's, oh, you know, the beautiful vine. I'll show you. It's, let me turn around. There you are. We've still got this beautiful... Can someone please tell me the name? It's ridiculous. Oh, I've forgotten. You can see the swifts. You probably couldn't see them then, but they're way up high, which means it's going to be a good day today. Now, the weather forecast said it was going to rain today, which I was regretting because I want to do a lot of gardening today. And yet the swifts are high, which indicates high barometric pressure, which indicates that the insects are all up high. That's where the swifts are feeding. You can see up there an early morning plane that would have left probably, I think, yeah, we're facing south, so that would be Toulouse Airport. Can you hear all the birds? Aren't they lovely? I'm not sure. That little beep, 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 beep. I think that's a tit of some kind. Now you can see here, see beyond me. Now, see that lovely tree between the two buildings? That is a mock orange. It's a Philadelphus, and that is going to spread the most extraordinary scent right across the garden. We've also had our beautiful lilac tree out. And here you can see that our jasmine, it's just about to burst with bloom. So I'm looking forward to the most gorgeous scented spring. And in fact, that's why we're having our annual garden party this year in May. Now, normally I would have it in June because that's when our girls who live in Melbourne can possibly get here. But this year they definitely couldn't. So we thought, well, look, let's take advantage of the most perfumed and scented time of the year. And so we've got 2 dates set out, the 17th and the 24th of May. And it will depend on what we call the meteo here, the weather forecast, as to whether we have it on the 17th or indeed in May. If we end up having it on the 17th, the people who can't come on the 17th but can come on the 24th will be invited for a smaller gathering then. You can hear the traffic. This traffic will be going basically to Périgueux. It's the early morning commute. You can see a little... That was a Maison Charbonnière, I think, which is a great tit. They're the ones with the black head and the black stripe down their front and the yellow chest. You can see that my roses are coming out now. And I'll show you a little bit around the garden insofar as this is our balcony, and you can see I've gone mad this year. I've planted here for the first time. We're going to have artichokes. I love artichokes. My husband, but Daniel, and hello. Yes, Dan. Good morning. I've got 5 people with me at the moment, which is lovely. Now I'm told my stay affecting you. Can you see that my chives are blossoming? Here, here's my chives. And my tarragon which I love with chicken. Got oregano at the back, and lemon thyme, and ordinary thyme, and citronella, and rosemary, and parsley. And here we're going to put our basil, and I have a conundrum at the moment because I've bought 3 basil plants because these violas, which I planted in autumn, they look a little bit wan and weak, and I thought, right, I'll put the basil in because it windows into the dining room ahead of us. You get the most glorious scent of basil going through the house. It's just yum. And now they're thriving, of course, and I've got my basil plants over here. Here's Charlie. Charlie, say hello to your Substack fans. Here's my boy. Hi, darling. Hi. If you haven't read them yet, read my Charlie Chronicles. He's a very wicked dog. We call him our crinimal because he commits crimes. And a crinimal is the criminal you have to love, unlike Donald Trump, who's the criminal that we hate, indeed, very much indeed. You can see here that my carrots, I stupidly planted them in pot into the ground. I can transplant them into potager over there. And I planted some seeds that came down from the glycine, or the, what is it called? Wisteria. The wisteria. And this one is sprouting, and there's no. I was hoping to sell them at the local market, make a little bit of money. And here are our tomato plants, which I planted from seeds. I'm rather proud of these. And these, I think I can probably transplant straight into the garden now, even though they're a bit small, because there's nothing like real living. Here we've got a magnificent red pepper, which I planted from the seeds of our red peppers last year. So I'm rather proud of that. And here's the other ones coming up. So they will be planted soon. We've got a very weak bit of coriander here, which is not going to make it. And here, aubergines, which again, I didn't plant from last year's seed, but they're okay. They'll be all right once they hit the real turf, if you like. And then look at these irises. Aren't they glorious? Look at that. My beloved mowed the lawn for me because normally I do the entire garden. He does inside the house because he's not that keen on actually he's not that keen on gardening, whereas I love it. For me, that's why I'm here right now. Being in the garden is bliss, absolute bliss. I just feel close to God, if you like, or whatever it is out there. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at that. Up in that poplar tree you see behind me, right up near the top on the left, there is a magpie nest. There are babies in there. They make this really strange sound, which I call their grockling, when they're hungry. And I heard them earlier today, but I haven't seen Mum and Dad feeding them yet. There at the back is our big oak tree and our magnolia tree here, which has stopped blooming now. And you can see, isn't it lovely? Look at this, isn't that gorgeous? I'm feeling quite vulnerable this morning. I had a bad night last night, which is why I'm up so early. And but you know, I'm there, and anyway, I have to put them in a little box and send them away. I really have to stop thinking about them. Look at this raspberry. Now this is a twice fruiting raspberry, which is going to give us fruit in summer as well as in autumn. And these go on right into the winter. They're quite amazing. And we've lashed out this year and we have got ourselves, we want to be self-sufficient on fruit and veggies. So we got ourselves limes, lemons. So that is a lemon. That is an orange. As you can see, there's a little orange on there. And this is a lime. And you can see, can you hear that? That tweet, 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 tweet. That's a blue tit. And look, see the little limes just starting to develop? Isn't that gorgeous? Daniel, I am happy this morning. Isn't it lovely? Now, this is the old Jeep that used to belong to our house, but the previous owners, they got into money difficulties, and so they sold it. And I'm quite pleased, to be honest, because even though it would have given us the oak tree in our garden, I have enough garden here to be getting on with. I'm 65, and frankly, I don't need to have more space to garden. Look at our lavenders just starting to come out. in the garden, the veggie garden, we've got lettuce, we've got rhubarb, we've got strawberries, and they're just starting to develop quite plump little fruit. We've got beetroot, then we've got celery, we've got Brussels sprouts, and then we've got broccoli, which I'm quite excited about because of all that high vitamin C we're going to get. And then we have radishes, which are pushing up red ends now, so they're almost ready, which is a little early. So I'm going to have to plant more radishes. Now, those I grew from seed very, very easily. And then I've created 2 more garden beds, and you can see you can just see there on my finger, that is going to be a rosemary hedge. And I'm going to plant I've already planted potatoes in the most distant bed, and in the intermediate bed, that's where the peppers and the eggplants are going to go, or aubergines. There's Charlie. What are you saying, Charlie? And I'm going to plant the tomatoes on top of. Shh, 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 shh. I'm going to plant the tomatoes on top of the radishes because I read the other day online that will prevent the tomatoes getting disease. Isn't that interesting? Those radishes, they are very spicy hot. They're hot, 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 and they're gorgeous. Absolutely delish. Anyway, that is Dumb Pigeon. You can hear him. He's extraordinarily stupid. I call them stupid because they try to build a nest in the glycine every single year, just over where the front door is. And every time we open the door, they have to fly off the nest. And when they fly off the nest, half the nest falls to the ground. But nonetheless, they succeed every year in raising they do like 5 or 6 different broods of babies. They're extraordinary. So they're dumb, but they're clever at the same time. I think their instinct is clever and they're dim. Charlie. Charlie. Charlie has a passion. Charlie, yeah. Look. Charlie. He's doing it today. He's got to the point where he refuses to have his nails clipped. Oh, look. Charlie, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, you silly boy? Look at that. He's my mad boy. I love that boy. You know, people are you're all going to think I'm completely lullaby every time I put him to sleep at night. Significant blankets. One is a very light, soft cloth that I call Raf or Giraffe. Giraffe was a cloth given to him by the breeder when he left her because she loved him. And then the next was a grey cardigan that I was wearing when we first met him as a tiny puppy before we could pick him up. And so I left him with that cardigan as a scent of mine. And of course, it's got holes right through it now. So that's called Cardi. And then finally, because it's been cold during the winter, I put an old towel, and we call that Blanky. And Blanky, we tuck around him. So he's left looking like a little sheik with a sort of a little face coming out. He's so funny. And then I sing him Rockabye Charlie. I am not afraid to say. And nor am I embarrassed to say. I have told this dog he will be my baby even when he's old and very, very jowly basset hound. Charlie, what you doing? I love that boy. I love that. He makes us laugh so much every day, and laughter is so important in these very vexing times. What else can I show you? Oh, yes, again. Here, look at these pansies. Now, these pansies look like they were giving up. I planted them again in autumn, and in fact, they have not been very good until just now, after I had bought these. I've got 2 coloured geraniums, and then these ones here are citronella geraniums, which will ward off the mosquitoes. So I've got 1, 2, and 3 of them, and they're going to be planted with these between. And the reason I chose these colours is because the flowers of the citronella are those colours, so it's going to be rather pretty. Here we've got a beautiful oregano because I'm not sure about our oregano, but I think our oregano's gone a bit odd, so I'm going to replace with this one. Actually, yes, that's origan, they call it in French, oregano. And this one here is, oh yes, um, it's marjoram, which they call marjolaine here. So I'm going to be planting that too. And here's a little crabapple tree. It's already got little apples on it. Let me see if I can find them. You can see, here, I'll show you here. Hang on a minute, I've got a bit of a bad back at the moment. I have to be careful. But look, there are the crab apples. And I'll be harvesting them and making jam. And late summer. And what else? You can see in the distance, underneath the Philadelphus, the azalea is already blooming. And I've got a white rhododendron and a pale pink rhododendron, both about to bloom. So that's going to be my very pretty corner. The soil here is acid, but what we did with that bed was I got my husband to dig the whole bed out, and we replaced it with acid soil from the plant shop, and then planted the rhodos and the azaleas because they only grow in acid soils. And then I mulch it with pine bark because pine bark is acid. Oh, and look, I'm so thrilled with this. This is my new iris bed. I actually planted these irises, it was about 18 months ago. I'm sorry, you're about to see Charlie do a crap, so I'm going to have to move away here. But they're gorgeous, these irises. Actually, I'll take a photo of them and post them because I think you can see right at the back above Charlie, you can see an iris that's got purple and pale yellow. It is glorious. And then these lovely pale mauve, and then these beautiful blue irises. Aren't they pretty? And then the gorgeous purple there. I'm absolutely delighted with them. And then here in the corner, we have got, this is my beautiful silver and white corner where I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 now, 4 hortensias, or hydrangeas you call them, but in France they're hydrangeas or hortensias depending on the sort of flower they've got and their sort of leaf. They're cousins, if you like. So we've got 4 at the back, and then it's where I put my hostas, and they're flourishing, and we haven't seen a snail yet, which is extraordinary, but probably attributable to the fact that we haven't had a lot of rain, which is worrying because down in the town where we live, which depends very much on people canoeing through, the river is rather low now in spring. We've got rain forecast for the next couple of days, and I don't regret that because that will help the local industry and our rivers. And here, can you see that? That is a bush peony. We've got 2 tree peonies on the corners of the potager there and there, but they now have, their flowers are dead. But now we've got these glorious bush peony, which is about to burst into flower. Charlie likes standing here because he generally likes coming along this fence, but he can't do that because the plants are here. Charlie, look at me. Oi, baby. Hey, little one, my baba. Hello, beautiful. Isn't he the most beautiful dog? I love this dog. Anyway, I think that's all about the garden. Yeah, here's the jasmine, and you can see those buds are getting pretty white, so we're about to have an explosion of scent. Oh, and our climbing roses, I'll see. I hope that the reception's going to work. But look at that. Aren't they lovely? These gorgeous roses. That is Papa Mayand, it's called. It's a French rose. Beautiful climbing rose, and it gets covered in those blooms. And this is always so pretty. And both of them, well, actually, the Papa Mayand doesn't smell at all. But this one is a beautiful sweet scent. So, enough of my garden. So what have we got in the news at the moment? The correspondence dinner. At first I thought the whole thing is a hoax, but then we found out a bit more about the young man who tried to finish off whoever it was in Trump's cabinet, including Trump. Can you blame him? Frankly, my one regret was that he didn't get the whole lot of them before he was stopped. I'm sorry, I mean, I just think these people are evil, and I don't think, in the same way that they don't think the usual rules apply to them, I agree that the usual rules don't apply to them, and while I don't agree with capital punishment, I think that they've crossed every boundary known to man, and I think it would be great to swiftly dispatch them up into a black hole, never to return. But anyway, yes, so there was that. And of course, Trump lost his opportunity to roast the journalists. And we won't say roast, we'll just say being extremely rude, his usual his usual nastiness to the press. Charlie, what are you doing? Get off. Charlie, get off. You know you're not allowed there. He's doing this so he can come closer. He is not allowed on the fence. Charlie, off, darling. Come on. Charlie, Charlie, get off. Come on, off, off, off. No, and not on the garden. No. Oh my God. Charlie, off, 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 off. Now, out. Come on, out. Now, now, now. Charlie, come on. Get up. Get out. Get out. Now, get down. Bad boy. I should think so. That boy. Yeah. So, the foreign correspondence. I've been having some very interesting correspondence with a chap. You should look him up. He's called Julian Janus Cross, Cross, and he is a telecoms engineer and an expert in AI and in all sorts of telecommunications. And he is working, as many people around the world are, on proving the existence of soul. And his argument is that basically our human bodies are they're an interface. The soul will interface with our human bodies whilst we are alive in human form, yeah. And only 30% of our energy, or 33%, and this is apparently consistently reported across cultures during deep hypnosis, only 33% of our soul/energy is being used, because if we had any more than that, we would not mentally, our brains would kind of explode or implode or whatever. Not literally, but we would not be able to cope with that. And it's made me wonder. I have a daughter who's quite acute ADHD, but very high functioning. And I always wonder, I myself am ADHD, and my other daughter is too, but we're high functioning and we are much milder than my other daughter, my younger daughter. But the question is, I wonder if people with ADHD use more. Because we've always known that, like, idiot savants, which are not ADHD people, but idiot savants use a part of their brain that nobody else uses. I believe that, I wonder, I'm going to ask him about this anyway. Now, can you hear the bells? That is our village bells. Aren't they lovely? We hear that at 7 a.m, at 12 noon, and at 7 p.m. They're in the church just behind us. And they ring at 7 to say to all the farmers in the valley, traditionally, it's time you are out in the fields. And then the 12 noon one is get home for lunch. And the 7 p.m. is get home and have dinner. Aren't they lovely? I love this. And what happens so actually we get the bells on the hour every hour, but this one here is, we've had the bells, we've had the 7 bells for 7 a.m, and this is called the Angelus. Isn't it lovely? And we get the Angelus at 7 a.m, 7 p.m, and 12 noon. And I can tell you for a fact that you can hear these the length of our very long valley. You can hear this for literally kilometres and kilometres. Charlie, off the garden, now, now, out, now, 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 get off, bad boy. He's created a little path here and he's crushing my beautiful flowers. Out, now, scoot, go on, scoot, 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 come on. Oh, he's a naughty boy. Isn't it lovely? Just perfect. I feel very, very, very lucky every day to live here. France also has, for all its political issues, it's a true democracy. There are people at the far left and the far right here who would basically make France not into democracy, as there are in every country, but the system is holding here. And at the last election, contrary to all expectations, the far right did badly because people came out in their droves to vote against, tactically. But the difficult thing was that there weren't enough of the candidates in the middle standing in all the seats, so that people voted then for whatever other candidate there was, which was on the left, this guy Mélenchon. Now, Mélenchon is just a nasty piece of work. He's not a socialist. He's basically a, what do you call it? He's a troublemaker. He's a, there's a word. I've forgotten the word. Basically, he is out to destroy systems. It's all about himself. He is a power seeker. He's power hungry. He's a nasty piece of work. Again, you know, for example, they won't shake the hand of colleagues in Parliament here in France, which is really bad manners. They won't shake the hands of the colleagues who are, politically opposed to them. It's extraordinary. There's a special ceremony when they all are accepted into the House, and they have to shake the Speaker's hand, and they refuse to do it. Quite incredible. So you knew which ones were bad-mannered thugs, basically. The blackbird. You can see the blackbird up on the roof of the gîte. There it is. Haha, that'll start singing any minute. Now, I have to warn you, I'm on 20% now. Actually, I better go in. Unfortunately, this bell here is the death bell, and this is for funerals. And what's happened is that since remember we had the terrible power outage here in France after some horrific storms I think it was in March, and we didn't have power actually no, it was in February, and we didn't have power for 4 days. Ever since then, the bells, which are actually, it's a computer system which swings the bells. So the bells actually swing in the clock tower, but it's set now on this is the funeral. We're not having funerals this often in the village, and I hope it's not like a banshee in Ireland, basically getting in the... Anyway, I'm going to pop in and make myself toast, and Charlie can have his breakfast, which isn't eaten yet. And my dear friends, that's about all I'm going to say today. I was going to talk more about politics, but to be honest, like I'm sure you all feel the same way, I get to a stage where I need a break from it. And at the moment, because I'm in this sort of fairly difficult stage anyway, because of my family of origin, I don't particularly want to talk too much about politics. I was actually listening to Katie Kay and Anthony Scaramucci when I first got up, whilst I was doing the washing up from last night. And I thought, actually, I don't want to listen to more of this. It was hurting my head. So I'll listen to them when I'm able, maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, to update myself on the state of things in your wonderful country. Anyway, I wish you all a beautiful day ahead. I hope the weather is glorious. I hope the birds sing for you. I hope the flowers flower for you. I hope that the spirit, whatever it is, the energy of creation, makes you smile today, gives you happiness and love. I hope your loved ones are there for you. And if they're not there for you, damn them, because they should be. And I hope that, I just hope that you enjoy your day today. Charlie's saying goodbye. Charlie, say goodbye. This naughty boy. I will say goodbye and say thank you so much for your company this morning. I've really enjoyed it. Send me a bit of love. Why don't you send me some hearts? I think there's a button where you can send hearts. I'll press mine. There you are. I'm sending you a heart, and you can send me hearts. And then I will now say goodbye. Bye-bye, Daniel. Bye-bye, JT. And bye-bye, Jeffrey and Leyland and Sandy and Beth. Your company has been delicious. Okay, bye.